Hey everybody, what's up? What's up? Big of yourself, Marencha. I see you. Hold on, let me pin your comments. Even though the green screen might make it a little bit hard for people to see the comments, including myself. People may pull up my ear. So you're not gonna see me. No sir, I'm in a state. I need to get these. Listen, you couldn't tell me say. Them pretty and nice when you have them in, but a hell if you take them down. No, sir. These locks are doing my head in. I need to get them out of my hair so I can get a fresh hairstyle and give my hair some rest over the Easter break. Yeah, so that before I go back to work, my hair is freshly done. And guys, me I tell you say it's like being a torment and hell at the same time trying to take this stuff out. Oh my god. I'm gonna need to dye my hair and all kind of something. Anyway, we're gonna talk, Let me hail up everybody that's in the classroom. First of all, big up yourself, Charmaine Walker, Kathy Wallace. Good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Hello, hello to Steph B. Estlin Souvenir, big up yourself. Arlene Scott, I see you. Michael Cyrus, hello. Yvonne, big up yourself, my member. Kiki, what's up? Norma, what's up, sis? How you doing? How to put in? You done it yet? Millicent Myers, big up yourself. It is what it is. I see you, nice poets. Good evening. Drea 1969, good evening. And as my admin says, a good day to everyone. Tap the screen twice to show your appreciation for the channel. Please like up the live. 80, I don't want to depend here only 16 like. No man, no do me that. That's not right. Send up the likes a little bit, please, and tags. Cause we're gonna talk. Marcia, big up yourself. Yes, so nice. Marencha says, good night, good night. Please like up the live as you come on. Color girl, them out. I gotta put them in a trouble. The wall we out, my love. We soon talk. Rose Johnson, big up yourself. Nifty, big up yourself. Yes, indeed. No, not yet, but it half. No, sir. HGK have nice advertising. Thank you, my darling. Thank you, thank you. That was just a job that had to be done. You know what I'm saying? We deliver the best for our clients at HTK Digital Designs. Yes. So if anybody else wants an advert done, you know the person to reach out to. Yes, we offer up full packages, voiceover included. You don't know, graphics and everything. We're very talented over here, graduates for a reason, not a season. Valerie, big up yourself. Good evening, good evening. V, big up yourself. Look. So TikToker 119 has been charged with malicious communication over a post that he made about a St. Catherine woman. I'd really like to know who the St. Catherine woman was, to be honest. Because at first, people, I was wondering if it's Miss Kitty. Because so this man texted from Miss Kitty from the day Miss Kitty announced that she was engaged to be married to the King's Council. It coming like say this man just lego off a Miss Kitty shirt. None at all. First of all, he came out as the bitter ex. Yeah. And, he has never had anything good to say since. Now, I find 119 to be entertaining. I'm not going to lie. He is a great content creator. Some of the things that he says is extremely controversial. We cannot deny. And they will irritate a lot of people, especially when he goes for characters whom are considered to be, public favorites. Yes. Miss Kitty being one of them, because a lot of people love Miss Kitty for her personality, her pizzazz, her sense of self, the advice that she gives out there to women. It fits with what many believe is supposed to be the way women see life. Now, I'm going to say things that may be a little not so popular, but you don't know. We share our opinions over here, and you're free to disagree with me, everyone. You're free to disagree with me. Big up yourself, Valerie Douglas. Steph B says, HGK, mail your head to me. I mean, help you pull it up. Look here, now, man, there's a struggle. It is not nice. It's horrible. I did not know this thing was so damn hard to take down. Me think it was going to be a straightforward thing, but God, I'm telling you, it is hard. But anyway, I'm going to say some things that may not necessarily be what the general public will accept. But I'm going to talk to you guys about freedom of speech and what that actually means, right? Because freedom of speech is not just people like to think it's a first world thing, and it isn't. You understand? Freedom of speech is throughout the world, and if you were to look at the right to freedom of expression, which is a part of the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms in Jamaica. Um, it's a constitution that we all should highly value and not be afraid to challenge when such things are brought under subjection. Now, I do not know what the post said. First of all, I'm going to declare that and disclaim. I don't know what the post said on his page that resulted in this charge of malicious communication. So I'm not going to be arguing from a standpoint of knowledge. A lot of what I'm saying will be circumstantial, like as in if he did not willfully, say things that were considered to be deeply offensive and probably going against somebody's character. So first of all, let me just check out this article, and you're going to listen to what they said in the Jamaica Observer before we go into it. It says here that popular TikToker 119 was arrested on Tuesday and hit with a charge of malicious communication under the Cybercrimes Act in relation to 2 social media posts regarding a female of a St. Catherine address. The social media personality, whose name is Milton Ray, was held by the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB. He was granted station bail in the sum of $400,000 and will answer to the charge in the St. Catherine Parish Court on the 12th of May. This is a quote from the man himself. He says, "I beg them to tell me what words in my post amounted to malicious communication." The officer then replied, "That's why there is a judicial system that will be revealed in court." Now, you tell me something, people. How you arrest somebody and charge them and not tell them what exactly they are being charged for? You just said malicious communication. You're not being specific. You see, these are the kind of little silly things that happen in the process of arrest that can easily lead to people, slipping out of charges that are probably deserved because we're not doing things properly. But anyway, the TikToker, who is a former journalist, is relishing the challenge to his freedom of speech and expression rights, which he believes are core human rights. He says, I am seeking a stay on the matter, pending a challenge in the Constitutional Court. I believe this is a new low for the police, who are seeking to infringe on the rights of regular Jamaicans by misinterpreting the law in order to muzzle them. The case revolves around 2 social media posts that 119 allegedly made regarding a young lady who later filed a complaint to the Spanish Town CIB. Ray believes that the newly instituted Cybercrimes Act is patently unconstitutional, infringing dangerously on the provisions of the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. All citizens of Jamaica should know that if you speak the truth, the police can come for you and arrest and charge you. The provisions of this new law are clearly not justifiable in a free and democratic society, he stressed. Ray finds it frightening that a law in Jamaica allows the police to arrest and criminally charge a citizen for relating his or her experiences. He emphasizes that the police have a duty to properly investigate a matter and ensure that any charges proffered are substantial, not trite or trivial, and are cogent enough to be presented to a court of law. This whole thing, he says, is ridiculous. The arresting officer just called me in and charged me. I did nothing wrong. I didn't threaten any post I allegedly made was not obscene, and it was done with the intention and wasn't done with the intention to harass any persons or cause harm to any person or property. The state is just trying to suppress my constitutional rights to freedom of speech, 119 railed. In the recent times, several persons have been hit with malicious communication charges, mostly in relation to the dissemination of obscene photos or videos of women without their consent, which of course, that's definitely a cybercrime. That's a cybercrime that's international, to be honest. Section 9 of the Act outlines penalties for using computer devices to send threatening, harassing, or defamatory material, or material that incites harm. Offenses can result in fines and or imprisonment with a maximum penalty of 20 years. Post joke, years that Jaja. Ray says he is not intimidated by the charge, which he believes was calculated to suppress his social media advocacy. What advocacy? I gotta ask that question. What advocacy you talking about? Guys, let me take on this green screen because it's a harbor me Francie uno comments. Yes, what does he mean by advocacy? Me not see who he advocating for. Who is he advocating for? Anyway, then we keep reading. So according to the Cybercrimes Act, there are 3 ingredients that must be proved by the material present to an investigator before a prosecution can be initiated under this section. They are 1. That a person used a computer to send or publish material by a person to a social media site. 2. That the data sent is obscene or constitutes a threat or is menacing in nature, intending to threaten with harm or danger. And 3, that the material which is either obscene or a threat or menacing in nature, or all 3, or a combination of the 3, was sent with the intention to harass any person or cause harm or the apprehension of harm to any person or property. Now, I have not known of this man to yes, him irritating, and him says some downright horrible things about people on social media, but everything that he has said is his own opinion from what I can see. However, I did find a couple of posts that he made about certain high profile characters, and I'm wondering, hold up, maybe this is bordering on defamation, because he's not quoting any evidence. He's just speaking as though he has insight and he has inside knowledge. But this insight and inside knowledge without evidence to back it, it almost come in like slander and libel. You understand? And this is why many times whenever we are blogging, those of us who are factual bloggers, not the ones who blog out of their ass. I'm talking about those of us who are factual bloggers. We connect everything we say with some kind of written document or published document or hardcore evidence, be it recordings, blah, 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 blah. Without that, you are literally spinning a tale. He's advocating for being the father of Miss Kitty Baby. Hey, look here. Now let me turn over here today. Hey, Yard Swag, what's up? Teshel. Exactly. You understand? And we have to be very, very careful as bloggers that we state when we are categorically speaking about our opinions, and we also state when we have got a source. And the source needs to be quoted, and you need to make it clear where you got said information from, which is why I disregard so many of those other platforms that chat a whole bag of crap and they've got absolutely no evidence and they're just talking to defame or to tear down or to destroy somebody's brand or character. They're not worthy of my time. If you're gonna come at me with a debate, you have to come at me with a debate that is substantially researched and backed by, legitimate information, right? Like, don't go on Wikipedia and argue with me. Come with some hardcore documents. So, as I said, there were some instances where this man said some stuff, and I was like, oh my God, could this be considered defamation? Could this be something that he could get into trouble for? And so on and so forth. I'm going to play a couple of his clips because I can't play his stuff on YouTube because he's on YouTube now, but I certainly can go back in time and play some of the stuff from last year where he is he's speaking about particular personalities. But my issue with him is that he does cross over into the personal, very 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 easily crosses over into the personal, and he does not distinguish between his personal opinion and the stuff that he's read or whatever. So he did this one post where he was talking about 3 high profile Jamaicans. I'm gonna play it so you can hear for yourself.
These men we are looking at on the screen right now: Muta Baruka, Denroy Morgan, the father of Morgan heritage, and the popular psychologist Leakim Samaj. These 3 men who you see right here now, these 3 men are Jamaican men, and all 3 of them have one thing in common. They have been married and have lived with multiple wives at once. All 3 of these men have been married to multiple women at the same time and live with them right in Jamaica.
So, first of all, yeah, we all know that bigotry is illegal in Jamaica. This does not mean that there are people who do not have cultural practices. And we know about Rastafarians who have got whole yards filled with different women and lots of different children, and he calls them all his queens, etc. It doesn't mean that we don't have these kind of cultural practices, things that people are aware of but turn a blind eye to because all the women who are involved are adults and are doing it free of consent. So to say that they are married to multiple women at the same time is not accurate. Hang on a minute, guys. Let me just get rid of some of these trolls because I've got no time today. Hold on. This one's not for you trolls. Every time I'm in this mode, it's a whole bunch of people who I do not know coming on here. This is for my graduates and my regulars, okay? So you're going to have to leave all the personal questions for another time when I open up the platform to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Me not in the mood for anger, oh no. No. So hold on there. Let me just deal with this before I keep talking. Hold on. If you've not been subscribing for longer than 24 hours, don't chat to me. Nope. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, so he said all this and there was no evidence at all of him presenting the fact that these men are actually married. Okay, if them have multiple women in them business, that whether it's right or wrong, I don't care. That's not my business, right? So this in itself is, to me, defamatory. This is where we need to learn how to draw the line. And a lot of us on our platforms do not know the difference between defamation and, quoting sources, speaking about what we've heard, what we've read, what we've seen. You understand? Social Spectator says, hi, HDK, jumping in and out. Persons need to also remember that there is freedom of speech, but not free from consequences. And free speech doesn't mean telling untruths on people. Correct, right? Because, as I said, there is a thin line. Anyway, let's listen.
Right in Jamaica. And they are not the only men who have done it. Several men have done it. In fact, Rastafari don't believe in the one wife thing. Rastafari, the doctrine, the original doctrine of Rastafari, believe in multiple wives. And it's the natural order. It is the original way. A change them can't change it with their religion. A change them come change how we're supposed to live. Especially as African people. We're not supposed to have no one wife. And in this modern day and age now, where women are telling you that they are independent and that they are empowered, the only way to keep women in check, to keep our women in check is for us to have multiple wives,
You're there.
multiple women,
Wow.
live with more than one woman. No man no fear live with one woman alone. No man no fear have no one wife. Because the only time that these modern women value you as a man, the only time that they really hold you in high regard is when them have to compete for your affection, when them have to compete for your attention, when they know that you are the man and they are women, and that there's a big difference between man and woman.
Wow. Just listening to this guy, you can clearly see that he has got a lot of chips on his shoulders. That the only he's actually just said that the only way a woman can show you that you are valuable is if she's in competition for that man with other women. It's a lot of bigotry and male chauvinistic, anti-feminist rhetoric. However, that aside, and we can't deny that because that's what this is. Because you can be anti-feminist but not necessarily be anti-equality with women in certain respects. And you can believe that men should have roles. I believe that men should have roles. I am not a straight cut feminist myself. I do believe that men should have roles in the household, but the society that we live in does not facilitate such types of living anymore. Because 9 times out of 10, even if you look at the barriers on employment, women are more likely to get through with certain roles than men when it comes to our black race. And that's a deliberate thing in terms of creating a dysfunctional family within our culture and within our race, especially in the diaspora. That happens. It literally does happen. Black men are seen as a threat. Black women, then will let you through to an extent. You understand? So they've created that inequality so that a lot of us end up earning even more money than our male counterparts. And that in itself, it tips things over in terms of the structure of the household that is considered traditional, where men are the head of the households, blah, 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 blah. And they are supposed to be the one that's bringing in the bread, and the woman's supposed to be the one that is the homemaker and all of that kind of stuff. That kind of cannot fly these days. It cannot, especially with the cost of living that we have to face. Man and woman have to work together in order to make things happen, right? Two and have a clap. But this guy, he speaks a lot about his personal experiences, and I would keep playing, but it gets a bit volatile and starts swearing quite a bit. And he speaks about how women, basically should be subjected to being under a man as a result of a man having a freedom of choice to be polygamous. Okay, we don't agree, most of us don't, but I'm asking you in terms of this part of it, is that something that he should be shut up about? Or is that just his opinion and the way he feels a relationship should be? And this is where I'm saying that while he no doubt will have a case because he plans to challenge this, um, he needs to reflect on how he delivers his content, because he does not necessarily make it very clear when things start to sway into personal opinion as opposed to facts. He is definitely free to feel whatever he wants to feel, and free to say what he wants to say as well. Because when it comes to freedom of expression, you cannot say that the man shouldn't be saying these things, or should not actually say these things about women or whatever. You can say he's arrogant. You can say I'm out of order. You can say you don't agree. But it shouldn't get to the point where he is silenced. Now, like I said, I don't know what he said. He said two things clearly that is being used against him in this charge, right? And I don't know what he said. But if it's along the lines of things like this, then it's not so bad. So then now I moved away from this and I was listening to him carry on talking about Miss Kitty as usual, right? And I listened to this particular piece and I was like, oh my God, my jaw kind of hit the floor. But listen.
Gonna listen to this, my people. My little daughter just turned 1, and my baby mother had a fabulous birthday party for her. All kind of food, sushi, and all kind of fabulous food. It was fabulous food and drink, and some fabulous people were invited to celebrate my 1-year-old birthday, first birthday. Oh, it was wonderful. All the people who were invited, they were invited with one stipulation, that they should not look at my little daughter's face. Nobody was allowed to see the birthday girl's fabulous face. But I don't know. I don't know if her face is fabulous, because something seemed to be wrong. From my little daughter born, my little daughter has been hidden. And I have never seen a baby being hidden. It's the first time I know everybody have a baby want to show off that baby. So what is the reason why my daughter can't be seen? Me know my little girl and no hippopotamus.
You there.
Me know my little girl is not a dinosaur. And so I want to know, what is the reason? What could be the reason why my little daughter face cannot show?
You there.
Me know say she must have a big nose, because my nostril not so small. And her mother nose is certainly not small. Her mother nose.
You there.
Her mother nose look like a dumpling.
Right.
Me not really mind the dumpling nose though, you know. The dumpling nose, me not mind it. In fact, I nose first me did see. The nose first me see. The nose first catch me eye. Because the nose was out there.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, that nose, that dumpling nose, when the two of we nose just go together and we just rub up nose. Two nose just a rub.
You there.
So my little daughter nose not small. I know my little daughter can't, it's impossible for her to have a little tiny teeny nose. But I know she's the dead stamp of me. And I think that is why her face cannot show. Because anyhow them show her face,
You there.
everybody will be, but I want a 9 penny this year.
You there. You there.
That is why they don't want to show her face. But even though my daughters, my little girl,
All right, now, okay, let's listen to this style of content. And now you tell me what you think about this. Now, obviously, we know that this is a piece of a satirical piece. He's making fun of Miss Kitty's birthday party that she had for her baby. And the fact that all of the media, you see the back of the child, you see the side of the child, but you don't really see child face, so to speak. She keep the child out, features out of the media. So he's making fun of this situation. Now, is that defamatory or is that freedom of expression? You tell me in the comments, right? Tell me in the comments. Is that, yeah, okay, we know we love Miss Kitty. He out of order, he rank, he going for the child. Yeah, all of that is true. I'm asking you to just think outside the box for a minute. Is that defamatory? Is that malicious communication? Is that harassment? Or is that freedom of expression? All right, Social Spectator says freedom of expression, satire. I don't like the man, but it's freedom of expression. He's rude and it's not funny. Absolutely, but loss of mental faculties. Loss of mental faculties. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, is it freedom of expression? Yes, it is. It's satire. Yeah. So as much as it's rude, it's disrespectful and stuff, it really is. Now, there's something that he does in this satirical piece which is also clever. The clever thing is he does not call Miss Kitty's name. He does not call her name, and he does not refer to the right name of her child, etc., etc. He adds in a little bit of extra stuff because he's implying that the child might be his and stuff like that. And anybody who knows the background knows that they went on a date, it never worked out, and nothing else came of it. Now, could this now, even though it's freedom of expression, and I'm trying to kind of pull you along to where things can get murky with the new Cybersecurity Act, him repeatedly doing this type of content where he is poking fun at somebody like Miss Kitty or whichever person, targeting a person and persistently doing it, and saying things that are not so nice, etc., could that then transcend to harassment? Hmm? Of course they do. They do, Jacinth. Yes. I find some of it funny, to be honest. Right? So just listen. If you keep doing it and you're doing it about a person, and you're making fun of them and you're using it for satirical pieces, you may not be calling their name, but the public now knows. Well, then put two and two together, and in your comments and all over your content they're saying that person. You're not disputing it. Surely this can then transcend to a situation of your satirical content is now harassment. Divergent says no. Why not? Why not? Now, we had a program out here in England that was called Yes, Prime Minister. And that Yes, Prime Minister program, literally the whole point of that comedy show was to make fun of politicians. It was to make fun of their personalities, their looks, the things they said, their quirky ways, their stupid policies, everything that was worth making satire out of. They did that. And that program went on for years and years and years. It never stopped, it never cooled down. And that's here in a first world country where freedom of speech is definitely a big thing. But we also have the recent case where Harry won against the press for basically harassing the life out of him, his family, his wife, and even his mother, to the point where emotionally they suffered as a result of it. And that he believes that they overemphasized, embellished information and stuff like that, and he won. And we on the other side looking on was like, go Harry, because this is a citizen standing up against the press and winning, because the press feels that they have got these liberties due to the Freedom of Expression and Freedom of Speech Act. They feel they've got that constitutional right to just say anything without consequence. So Harry is showing you that, listen, it can be challenged once you've got the money and the right lawyers. And now here comes the Cybersecurity Act to make sure that people are being held accountable for the things they're saying online, be it that you think it's satirical or not, or if it's just blatant defamation. That would be hilarious. It would be so funny if Miss Kitty repping the lady bringing him to court. Look, Pi, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking it's what a bangarang if it turned out to even be the husband. Cause in a this, go listen.
Nose might be a little biggish on the big side. Me know it must fit her face like how my nose also fit my face. See how my nose fit my face? Fit my face bad. But me can't see my little daughter face. Nobody can see my little daughter face. How in her face so a tree a grow in her face? And I am ready for my son. I want my baby mother to give me a son, but if my daughter not presentable, me have to go rethink it. Me do that thing say, would I want to have a twin with her? Well, not me. Me do want she have a twin. One for me and one for her husband. You know that women can have a twin. It happens all the time. Women have twins for two different fathers. Within a week, if she do it with her husband and do it with me within a week, she can have a twin for the two of it. If you have a boy and a girl, me want the boy. He can take the girl. All she have to do is do it with both of us within a week. But like how she live with her husband, me know him a go there before me. Me just a pray say. He not have nothing big. Cause my thing not so big, you know. And you know what, when me go there, me feel like me dropping a Mona Dam. You know what, when me go there, me feel like me just a wheel. Me little thing a wheel out a door. And him look like, you see how his head big? His head is so big. As a matter of fact, everything pan her husband, everything pan him big. He look like his foot big, his head big, everything big. And you know what? Look like he carry sitting big like at the foot of my tumbo. Like that thing carry. That the man there. So I don't want to go first. I don't want to go before me. When we are work on the twin, I want to go first. But the birthday party for my little girl was so fabulous. And some people did it. I come and tell my baby mother about them want to see my little girl face. I said my baby mother deep up under them, you see. She deep up under them. Me know say by now my baby mother will get bringle. She get bringle upon them. I mean know say by now. And I just beg she begs guys, a woman of action.
It is.
Me know she find March drugstore and get 2 black candles. Me sorry if y'all like people when they did it. I thought about them want to see my little daughter face.
Exactly.
Well, me want to see her face too, you know, but I don't know why her face hide. So I don't know what is the big secret about my little girl's face.
So you see, obviously this is quite offensive to lots of people. He's talking about the child. He's referring to the child's features. He's talking about the child's nose. This is a little baby, a 1-year-old, okay? And this is not the first piece that he did on it. So he did this piece, guys. I'm going to skip. He did this piece. Fine. He was clever. He never called a name. Him just start some facts. Blah, blah, blah. Came across as satire, no matter how disrespectful it is. And then he then went and did another piece.
Me cannot walk in peace.
This one.
Every day I go up on the road, me dip on the road everywhere me go. Everywhere me go. When I stop me ask me say, if me see the baby yet. And me keep telling her say me soon see her. Every day me telling her say me soon see my baby. Me soon see my little girl. And I'll know. Not even a little glimpse. Not even a little picture. Just like when you can't see her, me can't see her. I'm very worried. I'm very worried about my little girl. I'm very worried. Because I have strange feelings. In the pit of my stomach. In the bottom of me. The bottomless part of my heart. Me feel say something right. Me honestly feel say something wrong and me worried. Me worried about her nose.
You're there.
Me feel say my little girl have a serious nose problem there.
You're there.
I mean there amongst her mother when me could have show her mother what she do. How she fit use her finger, her 2 finger them put on the nose bridge. And kind of straighten her little nose up. So she grew up with it without You know, it could have helped bring down the nose little, but I don't think that will work much neither because me know say me have a serious nose problem here.
You
Me
there?
have a nose problem and her mother have a nose problem. She can't escape it.
I didn't utter what I was thinking. I thought to myself, wow, look at this lady asking me about my child's nose when she can hardly breathe through hers because she is morbidly obese.
You
Her
there?
lungs are under pressure, our liver under pressure, our kidney under pressure. But yet still, I did not utter those words. I made it stay in my brain and I just looked at her. I literally just looked at her. Because I said, this can't real. But my baby must have my nose or her nose because she has a jacket.
Me know say my little girl cannot hide.
All right. So what is the mistake that 19 made in this second video about the situation with the child and the nose and hoof and nose big and etc. etc. What mistake did 19 make? Remember, in the first one, I said he was clever. He didn't call her name. He distorted some facts. He gave the child a different name. He suggested he was one of the fathers. All of those things, could just be considered content creation. But at this point, what 19 did, what 119 did was that he then threaded through both pieces of content and directly inserted a clip of Miss Kitty. Exactly, Divergent. And by inserting a clip of Miss Kitty, he has made it clear that his videos were connected to the lady. He has also made it clear that she's the target of everything he's saying. Her child is the target of everything he's saying. And this is the mistake that he made. Now, listen, remember, in the article just said a St. Catherine woman. I do not know who that St. Catherine woman is. Or a woman of St. Catherine address. I don't know. Maybe Miss Kitty live in a nice house in a St. Catherine. I don't know. I don't know if it's her. But, we're keeping our mind open because no doubt we're going to hear more about the case as time progresses, right? Yes, I'm talking about the baby's nose. So now by putting this woman in your clip, now we know that the person that you're targeting is definitely where before there may have been suspicions. We think so a strong feeling. We know say she because him always attack about Miss Kitty. Now we know say she. And fundamentally, this man, his issue with Miss Kitty is simply that he despises her independence. He despises her ethos when it comes to women demanding what they are worth from men, and also bringing what you are worth to the table. Because it makes a man like him who feels that his ego needs to be stroked, it makes him feel small. And the only way a woman can make a man feel small is if she is more accomplished and she is more confident in certain ways than he is. And if you have to be in a relationship where you have to downplay those things about yourself in order to make your man feel comfortable, I'm not saying you shouldn't, because some women will do that. But I'm saying that if you have to do that, then it speaks loudly about the fact that the man that you're with has got screaming insecurities that are genuinely his own faults. Or his own lacking, because it doesn't have to be a fault. It could just be that he has not managed to achieve these things because of circumstances and life. But you have managed to achieve these things, right? He considers her to also be extremely materialistic. He's not the only one. Many people on social media think that Miss Kitty is very materialistic. She speaks quite frankly about the fact that, listen, she basically not F for free, and she's not giving herself away to a person who cannot elevate her status. So it's got to be hand in hand. Your accomplishments have got to be decorated and up there. And she has never made any qualms about what it is that she wanted. If you notice, Miss Kitty never said that she wanted no face boy. She wanted a man that is accomplished and secure in his achievements. There are all sorts of things that this man has said. He has spoken about the fact that Miss Kitty is a homebreaker. He has spoken about the fact that she take the man from the wife, and he's done all those things. Now, all of that we have no proof of, but this is things that he has said. Having said those things are allegations, But he has not come out and say that they are allegations. He's speaking it as though I saw it go. You understand? Big up yourself, Hazel. Allegedly, the twin sisters that he did a video about the 20 most ugliest women in Jamaica. Okay, I saw that video, but I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. I did see the 20 most ugliest women in Jamaica. All right. No, okay. I'm going to look at it without sound now. Come in, Because YouTube. Hey, listen, guys, I posted an ad today. And when I posted the ad, I had background music in the ad that I posted. And YouTube, they flagged it as a copyright match. It's not a strike, but I had to dispute it because I own that music through a license that I pay for. So now I'm having to do all sorts with them. So I'm not able with them at all. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find these things. Right. So videos. And he spoke about, okay, Jamaica's ugliest women revealed again. No, sir. A queen and I married this bishop on the front. Hold on 1 second, yeah, people. Hold on there. Hold on there. I don't want it to play on that profile because ads are going to run. Let me play it on the next profile what I pay for. Hold on 1 sec.
Jamaicans all
okay, hold on. All right. So we're going to skip. I'm going to pause the sound and I want to see what he says. I'm going to go into his script and see who he calls who he calls the ugliest women. All right. Okay. So, oh my God. This guy has no chill. This guy has no chill. All right. So he says here, Jamaicans all over the world have been responding very positively to our ugly woman competition, the top 10 ugliest Jamaican women alive countdown. The response has been overwhelming and we have received a number of nominees right here in my hand to add to the list of ugly women. But before I get into that, I just want to agree with one of our finalists, Macca Diamond. See what she says here? Macca Diamond says she agreed that if you make it on the list, but she says something very important, very, very important, that the uglier woman is the tighter. Look here. That part made me laugh. Is the tighter in the V area. I couldn't agree more. I endorse what you say, Miss Macadiamond, and here are some suggestions of the ugliest Jamaican woman alive nomination. Sent in from England, America, Canada, Europe, and all over the world. People are sending in these nominees. Oh boy, we pick out the ones that get the most nominations. Oh my God, what? He says here that the one who gets the most nominations is the politician Fable. Oh my God. He did not say that. Jesus. What? Hold on. Favor Williams, the Minister of Finance, is what he's saying here. He says, I don't agree that she's so ugly. I don't agree. I don't agree. She kind of look weird, but Mina agrees say Favor should have made the list. But we get a couple of nominations. He then goes on to say, also on the list sent in by Jamaicans all over the world are two people who tied, and two people have tied, Amari and Queenie. Queenie and Amari. Jesus Christ. Queenie Amari, quite ugly Jamaican women. They have to be in some kind of list. Jamaican ugly women. Oh Lord, here's another one that gets a whole lot of nominations. This one got a whole lot. The Member of Parliament from St. Catherine, Miss Denise Daly Ali. Who's that? I don't know. I don't really follow up these, or Daly. Lord, people seem to think that Denise Daly is very unattractive. Oh my gosh, he's saying all these things. But then, guys, is this freedom of expression or is this malicious communication? Come on now. Anyway, it goes on. The TikToker Rosalie. I don't agree, Rosalie, not ugly. She's in fact a pretty girl. Just her body ugly. She have a piece of body. Man, Jesus Christ, her body look like, and then he put the S word. And talk about the fact that it looked like World War and so on and so on. So Rosalie, him have panelists. Okay, he mentioned Miss Kitty. Oh my gosh. Hold on, before that. This one only got one nomination, and I'm not including her. And she's a friend of mine too. Her name is Audrey Reed, the dance hall queen actress Audrey Reed. She used to be a friend of mine. We used to be very good friends until this thing go down with me and Miss Kitty. She takes side. She take Miss Kitty's side and ostracize me and be with me. Or something else, a beef with me or something. I'm not going to be vengeful and put you on this list, Audrey Reed. Audrey Reed is a beautiful, nice, sexy, hot girl. I don't agree. I don't agree with Audrey Reed. Hey, Audrey. So then I say, Audrey get nominated. Look here, now, man. Look here. Out of order and bright and feisty. No, sir. So anyway, then it says here, this is the most popular nominee, my mother. A lot of people are saying my mother should head the list. My mother was not a very pretty woman. I must agree. Now, come on, guys. If you think about this, if this guy is actually dissing his own mom, it has to be satire. This doesn't sound personal so far. It sounds like he is literally using satirical, stuff to have a laugh, because he's literally gonna put his mother on this list. Anyway, he goes, I must agree, she was pretty when she was young, but as she got older and got sickly, she wasn't so pretty again. And she, he says, whatever she had, it affected her eyes, affected her parts. But my mother has passed. My mother is long gone. From I was in my early 20s. When I was about 21, my mother passed. So she couldn't make the list of the ugliest woman alive. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Oh Lord, when it comes to it, I get a lot of criticisms about the number one ugliest woman in the world, which is two in one of the Clayton twins. Oh. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Really? Hang on a minute. Let me take a look at them. Hang on, guys. Let me take a look at... Huh? Oh. Oh. Jesus. No, sir. I don't think they're ugly. I don't think they're like... I don't think they're like... I don't want to say anything at this point. I'm gonna behave. This isn't nice. These are two young girls who are representing the island. Surely things are more important than looks at this point. Anyway, he goes, now people feel upset, so put them in the list. So I say, this is gonna affect the young girls. They're teenagers, or they're 20 years old. A bigger one, them take man long time, and they ugly like a mug, them hideous. Oh my God. So people are saying to leave them alone because it's going to affect them. And his clap back was that they're 20 years old and they're a bigger man and they're a take man long time and they ugly like mug and they're hideous and they're hard to look at, very hard to look at. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he then goes on to say another nominee that came in from across the globe is Mrs. Juliet Holness. Juliet's not ugly. She's a lot of things, but she's not ugly. That's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. But anyway, but I know that's just politics because Mrs. Juliet Holness is a beautifully sexually appealing, strapping champion that I would watch out. What am I trying to say? He would have got here. Then he might talk about, oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. Didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry, Andrew. I wouldn't do anything. But wicked I lie. Mrs. West, nice and pretty. Oh, here's an interesting one. Mr. of the Maroons, or the TikToker, I don't know who that is. Mr. of the Maroons, I don't know who that is. Says she ugly. She look. Let me tell you something. You see, oh, mackerel. Oh, Jesus Christ. He then went on to talk about the fact that if you didn't see Macro's face, but you saw her body, she's sexy, very sexy. Her face looked kind of weird. but she is a very sexy girl, and he wants on to talk about her body and so on and so forth. Then he speaks about a radio personality on Hit 92. Jenny, yo, leave Jenny alone. Jenny is a lady that I really like and I really respect. Why are you disrespecting Jenny? Jenny have a piece of nostril debt. Jesus, a nostril there, and that's it. Say a piece of nostril there. But his nose is huge as well, so I don't think he's any. Oh my god, I am just looking at this in shock. People are doing this kind of content. Are you for real? And then he goes and he puts Derek Morgan on there. But Derek Morgan's not a woman, but he's included Derek. He says that Derek Morgan have to top the list of ugliest Jamaican woman alive. I agree with you. No, this big ugly woman, Derek Morgan. Jesus, our face a crush. Him saying face if a crush cornmeal or crush flour. One of them. Oh my god. Okay, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. I have seen enough. How is it that he gonna put flipping Derek Morgan, who's a whole man, on the list just because of his gender preference and how people like to just do things like that in Jamaica? That's horrible. Okay. All right, I've gone through the entire script. And yeah, it's really nasty what he said about those young girls. They're kids. I mean, they're kids in our eyes because they're like more than 1 decade younger than us. So why would you target them like that? And then you're gonna end up with cyberbullying, and people are gonna come on their page and say, "Hey, me say them say over there, say you make it to the list." All right, they will troll them for things like this, which can lead to harassment, which can lead to things like that. But that's not him doing the harassing, even if he is the person who kicked it off by the stating his opinion. I've not heard anything malicious in this, because the man also included his own mother. So if this is the piece that's being used, I don't know if it is, but if this is the piece that's being used, guys, he's got several legs to stand on in court. If this is the piece that they're using, I am just hoping that there's more to it than this. Because I'm not going to lie, it'd be interesting to see if an example is set out here for bloggers. But, we need to also be aware of certain things, because once you are blogging about people within the same country, you are more likely to be targeted for defamation, more likely to be hit with charges and stuff like that. It is harder to do it when somebody is in a completely different territory to where you are. You understand? It does make it harder. It's not impossible, but it does make it harder. It's a lot more financially draining to do it. Most people won't do that kind of work pro bono because there's so much involved in actually getting access to information on people, background information on people in countries like the UK, which are not open and front facing like America, where you can literally dig up everything on people. You understand? Once you have name and date of birth. Over here, you can do something similar, but you have to know their names and you have to know their date of birth, especially if their names are common, in order to locate them. So it takes some work. It takes a lot of work if you're doing something like this internationally. But in Jamaica, where somebody knows somebody will know somebody, will say, yo, where the brother they live, I easy something. Fill you with a charge. You understand? But I think that if this is the piece they're using, he has several legs to stand on. Several legs to stand on. He is crazy. Mackerel has a ass like mode. Lord Jesus, look here now, no left mackerel alone. Left mackerel alone. Me not able, me not trouble them at all. I'm not disturbing these people, eh? People, you cannot curse people for how they look, because it's so God make them. It's different when them go under the knife and go inherit looks where God never give them. Them cannot help how they were burned. Right? If I say them born, I say them born, don't it? So we're not going to talk about that. But this guy is crazy. He says a lot of crazy things. But honestly, it's just all sounding like satire, opinion pieces, and so on for the most part. But there are mistakes that he made. And if it was Miss Kitty who went for him, I would more understand if it was Miss Kitty who went for him. I can't understand if it's other people. I'm not going to lie. Like this piece here that's titled Miss Kitty in Trouble.
I must confess that I am very worried for Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty's husband, her new husband, Mr. Ian Wilkinson, has been on a losing streak of late. Miss Kitty's new husband is an attorney at law and he has been losing some high-profile cases. And you know, say people not got to losers. People only got to winners, and as a lawyer, you need to keep winning. It's not a good thing when you lose as a lawyer. So I am wishing all the best for Mr. Ian Wilkinson. I want him to find back his winning streak. Because you know,
that's the topic.
If you continue to lose and people stop come to you, the money are going to dry up. And you know, say Miss Kitty says she don't want a broke man. So me sorry for you, master. Anyhow, you know, start win again. And you know, keep the money rolling in. Me sorry for you. The latest case is a case involving Cabell Stevenson, who is Capleton manager. Cabell Stevenson is the former manager for Tootsie Bird. And him sued the wife of the late Tootsie Bird. Him sue the wife and family of Tootsie Bird because them hold up on a computer hard drive for him. And Cabell Stevenson say he want the hard drive because him have album on the hard drive, but they don't want to go the hard drive. So him sue them. And they went to Miss Kitty's husband to represent them. And they went to the Supreme Court and lose. And Miss Kitty's husband appealed to the appeal court. And him lose on every ground of appeal. He don't look good. He don't look good. The next case is the case with Butch Stewart family. Butch Stewart family are foreign and Butch Stewart family are Jamaica. A fight over Butch Stewart dead left.
Hey.
And Butch Stewart family in Jamaica went to Mr. Ian Wilkinson to represent them. And then Mr. Wilkinson write a letter to the registrar at the Supreme Court. And the registrar reject Mr. Wilkinson and tell him not following the proper procedure. He don't look good at all. He don't look good at all. Then Mr. Ian Wilkinson also went to the Privy Council in England, fly all the way to the Privy Council in England in another case. It's a case involving Mocha under the Proceeds of Crime Act. The case involved a drug smuggler, a convicted drug smuggler. Mr. Wilkinson, Miss Kitty husband represented some people and he got to the Privy Council with Miss Kitty and then lose. Come out and the losing end. When you is a liar, you need to keep winning. If you don't keep winning, people will stop come to you. So me want Mr. Wilkinson to find back in mojo. Me want Mr. Wilkinson to start win again. Or else we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to the marriage. I am very concerned. I am concerned also about that little girl. I want her to have the best. I want her to have the finest things in life. I'm also concerned about the Range Rover. That's why I keep my little bicycle.
Really?
I keep my little bicycle and everywhere I want to go, I just jump on it and I go about my business. I keep things simple. But I want the best. But it is a lesson for all the women out there. All the women out there were a target man for money.
You they know.
All I want to wear follow Miss Kitty. I talk about and I want a broke pocket man. It is a lesson for the whole of you that today you're winning, tomorrow you're losing. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down. And Mr. Wilkinson better pray say, him not meeting 20 misfortune like a traffic accident or little thing up to him and he can't work. Because that would be the end of him and Miss Kitty. She say, you have money. You have to have money as a man. You have to have standards. Woman have to have standards. And you must have whole heap of money. She don't want a broke pocket, man. All of you woman, we feel so enough there with man for money. Enough married man for money. Enough don't want money, man. The money man can't broke tomorrow. And the
But
poor man can't get rich tomorrow.
sir, you're missing the point though. Miss Kitty is not going into a relationship broke and looking for the man to minor. Miss Kitty is saying that she does not want somebody that deducts from her assets but that adds to it. I don't agree with the perspective. Me personally, I fall in love with the person. I don't care what your pocket looks like because I know I'm capable of making money. Okay? So let's not confuse my opinion with Miss Kitty's opinion. I do not believe in choosing a man purely because he is financially capable of mining me because I don't need to be mined. I have got the talents and the skills that are necessary for me to never beg bread. Ever. Ever. No matter what, I have something I can do, if it's even with my hands, to feed myself and my kids. Right? So, having a man that has money is a bonus. It's a bonus, but it's not a must. It's a bonus. Miss Kitty's perspective is that it has to be an essential requirement. I will fall in love with the person, and whether or not you have money is of no relevance to me. Remember, I hope to me come from and I get to my husband come from, So hello, that just goes to show you that I don't care about things like that. I look at the person themselves. Because if we can build a life together and you have got the right ethics, the ambition, the drive, and the go-getting personality that's necessary to work with me, that's all that matters. But like I said, her having those standards, I'm not going to knock it either. Some women won't work with that. Some women don't want that because they've been there, done that, or they've entered the situation where, listen, it's unequally yoked, and you're going to end up having to lift up this man and carry this man on your back, and they're not interested in carrying no man on their back, right? I believe in each one help one. And at the end of the day, you may carry your man for a while if you are financially more capable. And then later in life, he might be the one that's carrying you, as has happened with me and my husband. You understand? So don't look at it like that. That all woman who think say, array, them are some materialistic gold diggers, this, that. Miss Kitty was bringing things to the table. So it's different if you bring nothing to the table and you look to the man if you have money and if you have everything. Because that means you look for somebody for babysit you. You look for somebody for mind you. So you are now the burden and the parasite in that man's life.
Uno fool like. Uno so fool. 119. I must confess that I am very worried for Miss Kitty.
Hold on.
Miss Kitty's husband, he my little bicycle anywhere I want to go, just jump on it and I'm going about my business. Keep things simple. But I want the best. But it is a lesson for all the women out there. All the women out there will target man for money. All of them will follow Miss Kitty. I talk about I want a broke pocket man.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lesson for the whole of you that today you're winning, tomorrow you're losing. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down.
Hey.
And Mr. Wilkins better praise him now. Meeting 20 misfortune, like a traffic accident or a little thing up to him and he can't work. Because that would be the end of him and Miss Kitty. Because she say you have to have money. You have to have money as a man. You have to have standards. Woman have to have standards. And you must have a whole heap of money.
Well, clearly he's able to find out a lot about Kitty's case, her husband's case, and all of that. Those things are public records. So it's easy for him to find that information out if he's invested as he is. So none of that could be considered defamation. None of that could be considered harassment necessarily. He is using that as an example of the fact that you're not always going to be successful. I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah, okay, we don't like it. Him always a trouble Miss Kitty, always a trouble Miss Kitty husband. But nothing yes so to me is defamation. But like I said, if you look at the historical number of videos that have been done where he's making fun of and saying derogatory things about and saying things that would create negative criticism towards the couple, Miss Kitty and her husband, there's been so much over a period of time that people are looking at him as an obsessed ex, and people are saying that he's harassing this couple, particularly Miss Kitty, right? And if we're looking at it in terms of the Cybersecurity Act, then yes, indeed, it could be taken as malicious content if she decided to go for him. Now, with regards to the one about the ugliest woman in Jamaica or whatever, that sounds to me like a bit of a corruption, because if we're looking at that as the evidence, there's nothing there. That literally is satire. That is definitely comedy. That's him making fun of a situation. And to the point where the man actually spoke about his mother. And I don't like defending him because he is an arrogant so-and-so. But we have to tell the truth. Is this a case of somebody in a position of power has managed to get him because they've been so fed up of his mouth and the things that he said, and they found this as an opportunity to actually silence him? Is this a case of corruptive power influences that are able to swing the law in the direction that they want to, and therefore make him pay financially or in prison for the things that he's been saying? Is Miss Kitty or the husband involved in any way? I'm asking crucial questions because of what we know. Could it be the husband that's behind this? Hey, could this person be the lawyer that's going to defend the case? I don't know. But all I know is that this is going to be an example set out here, particularly in Jamaica, where bloggers do feel like they can say anything and get away with it. But until we crack the code of dealing with international bloggers who say whatever, without it being at great cost and expense to individuals, it's going to continue for a while. Because these things have got limitations when it comes to financial powers, and pro bono don't extend to that degree of defamation unless you are the kind of client that's packing and can definitely pay. So, these things have got their limitations, but once you're within the same country and you're making certain comments and you're saying certain things and going on with yourself in certain ways and you're affecting people's lives, it can get extremely dangerous. We have got to make it clear when things are factual, when things are sourced, quote sources, linked documents, talk about where you read it, where you saw it, so on and so forth. Like I said, it's different from you just going off on one and talking about your opinions. There are certain videos he has on his 119 main account on TikTok, which is where I'm playing this from, where he literally just goes off into a tirade, just cussing women, calling them the B word, all kind of things, just because he's read an article. Like he spoke about an article with the father who was made a jacket, I think it's 4 times or so. Hold on, let me just double check how many times this dad was a jacket. Hold on a minute. He spoke about it. 3 jackets for Father's Day. The man got 3 jackets for Father's Day, and he spoke about that, and it was a very impassioned speech. But by the time he was finished, he was effing and blinding, calling women all kinds of names because he had the experience personally where his first child that was presented to him was in fact a jacket. And by the end of that, the tirade of insults that were leveraged against females across the board was just horrendous. And it's clear to me that this individual has got some emotional imbalances and some real insecurities about himself as a man and how he has been made to feel as a result of his experiences in this life. I genuinely believe that his resentment towards Miss Kitty is because she made him feel even less than he was already feeling. Because he was then made to feel not good enough. And when she made the comments about not having money and stuff like that, and he goes, "Oh, so because I don't have money, I'm not important, I'm not worth it." It has caused things to kick off in the way that it has on his platform. And then his bitterness just spirals out of control, and it's then targeted at anywhere and anybody just to prove the point. Because even when he was talking about Lakim Samaj and those other important Jamaican characters, the fundamental issue was targeting women who claim they're empowered and claim that they have got, independence. And really and truly underpinning that is his bitterness towards Miss Kitty. It's going to get him into trouble if he doesn't stop. And that's a fact. Right? Anyway, guys, you guys have been extremely patient. I don't know if have the comments stuck. I can't see anything. Hold on one second. I'm going to go on my channel because I think that the comments have just frozen on my phone and I don't know why that is. Bear with me a second. Let me just click on that. Bear with me a second. Yeah, look at all these comments. I'm not seeing them on my phone, guys. It's a good thing I come over here. Right. So Miss Kitty getting arrested, Sims 4 channel asked, no, we do not know if it's Miss Kitty. We're saying that Miss Kitty would have a stronger case because people are suspecting it has to do with that Jamaica's Ugliest Women video that he did and the public figures that he was criticizing. You understand? These are public figures that are not beyond public scrutiny and criticism. Yes, none of us are divergent thinker. They are all public figures and they're not above it, which is why I say he has a strong case, because none of what I'm hearing sounds like malicious communication per se, but I'm saying maybe Miss Kitty has a leg to stand on when it comes to harassment if Miss Kitty decided to take on a case like this against him. But we don't know who the St. Catherine address woman is. Okay. I don't blame the lady because she have money. Take a broke man. All I gotta do is drain our pockets, and them man they're worthless, just want to lay down in a bed. Some men sizzling hot. I'm not gonna say that all men who don't have money are worthless, because there are some men who are just disadvantaged and therefore are looking for an advantage and a leverage. And if you're able to make that happen, and then you see the fruits of your labor, then it's worth it to me. That love conquers all for me, not about money. It's a case where they are protesting the child because he crossed the line, protesting the child. It could be faith. It could be about the child, because that was really disrespectful. And even as I said, I mentioned to you guys, we spoke about that Yes Prime Minister program. And they never touched kids. It was all the adults that they were making fun of. I've never seen satire where children are brought into play. So yeah, that was a bit harsh. It was really bad. And she's deliberately kept that child off. And then you're talking about the child's nose and stuff like that. It's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. Yes, big up yourself, Andreen. Yes, I stand corrected. Some men, especially when the woman's got a lot of money. Yes, there are men out there assisting hot that target women with money. Right? When I met my husband here in the UK, I never have no money. I was working and I was completing, well, I think I'd completed my master's and I'd started my other postgraduate qualification, which I said I never finished because I choose man and pick me over over PhD, but that's my choice because I had enough academics to keep me going and I had no interest in going into academia. But I'm saying that I was not rich, but he saw potential in me and I saw potential in him. And now listen, me just have a go stretch up my hands, so I'm gonna get one more. It's as simple as that. But it's about mutual support and love and respect for each other. So it's how you handle that. Some men out there will see a woman and want to exploit that woman for their own gain, but not give of themselves to that woman. That's where there's a problem. So we women have to be aware of gold digging men, but men also have to be aware of gold digging women, because none of them are valuable. None of them are valuable. Anybody who just sees you for just your financial gain is not a good person, right? Because listen, just like um what 119 say, shit can hit the fan, and one of you can go down and can't work, or loss of earnings happen. And which is why I also encourage people to get your income insured. You hear what I'm saying to you? Anyhow, you can get your income insured, get it insured. Because things can happen to you that stop you from earning your salary, and that insurance can pay you up to 80% or higher, depending on if you want to spend out enough on your premium of your income on a monthly basis should something happen and you cannot work. I have that. Yes. I have that. If I stop working because I'm ill, because I'm stressed, because, I don't know, death in the family, me stress out, me can't work, I get most of my salary still. So you got to think about ways to live with each other where it's not about just your material things. Because if you're just focused on, listen, my man have to have money, and then your man get broke because of circumstances, how are you going to handle the pinch? Are you going to handle the stress of it? Yeah. Are you going to double up and tighten your belts and have less so that, nose off your run so that the better must come, kind of thing? Think about it. Some women, the first time that happens, they're gone. And those are the ones who are truly materialistic and not really in love with the man, but in love with what the man can do. We don't want to create a society that is just about those kind of values, because those are the kind of values that we are seeing perpetrated on TikTok on a day-to-day basis, where people will literally prostitute themselves for gift, just because they are all preoccupied with the money. Listen, one of my followers, she sent me a voice note, because I did that video about Jamaican relatives and how they see us in a big foreign as some kind of bank. And she said she had to reach out to me because she had this dreadful experience with somebody who was supposed to be a close friend, whom she had involved in her life, that they were a part of her when she was building a house, and she gave them work and stuff on the site and all kinds of things. Anyway, years passed and she eventually sold the property, and when she sold the property, say she go on a foreign, she sell the property, whatever. Them eventually link up again through social media. And the first thing the man said to her in a voice note is, if she can't let off, she don't know, so she's supposed to let off some money upon him. After she go sell the house where him help her bill. After this man was paid a salary, he's demanding money. Basically, he's looking for his cut from the selling of the house. So that kind of disgusting attitude is not just indicative of femininity. It's also men out there these days who will do anything for $1. Anything. There's a huge difference between being distasteful ethically and being unlawful. I just don't see where he has broken the law. And I totally agree with you, Divergent. I don't see it either. I see that there is a potential to build a case about harassment. Yes, okay. Because we've seen it, because Harry did it. Prince Harry did it. So we've seen that it's possible. But I still don't see it as a civil litigation situation. I don't see it as unlawful what he's done. I see it as satire. I see it as content creation. And I do see that he has flaws where he blends in opinions with facts without making it extremely clear what his sources are and where he's gotten his information from. But because those who are in the know may know that what he's saying is fact, they may not necessarily challenge him because they know he got it from somewhere and it's the truth. So, but it's dangerous in how information is received by the public. It is dangerous to not make it clear where your sources are from. So we have to take it as a lesson. We have to observe and see how this plays out. It will be a very interesting court case in May, and a very interesting outcome. It will set the atmosphere for how bloggers handle things in Jamaica, especially based on the outcome of this case itself. But like I said, he isn't to me the real danger. There are some bloggers out here who really are the real danger. They say some blatant lies, and they lie against people's characters every single day. Yeah, every single day they lie. And they're getting away with it purely on the basis of the fact that they're out of reach. So, you know, those to me are the very dangerous ones. But yes, law will evolve and eventually everybody will be handled according to that law once it becomes accessible and clear when it comes to social media. It's a new age, and we are in the age of learning new ways to handle social media and how to respond to it. It's newly brought into litigation. So there are so many debates that will have to take place around the laws that basically guard and guide social media territory. There's so much that we've got to learn from it, and we can't just allow our freedom of expression and our rights, our human rights, to be infringed upon because of cybersecurity. Yes, you have to have freedom of expression. You have to be able to say, listen, I don't like you, or I think you're ugly, or I think you have a big nose. That is not something that should constitute a law, a legal situation. But when you come to say that you're a thief, you are committing a crime, you are doing this, those things are defamatory. Those things are things that people should be held accountable for when it's not true, because those things are slander, and in writing they're libel as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for sitting with me while I'm pulling out my hair. I've pulled out more than half now. I'm doing okay. Tomorrow, I shall continue. Jesus, no, sir. I'm telling you guys, I am never gonna put these braids in again. These locks, they are really ridiculous to take out. Leave me with my plaits them, I beg. Because I can't deal with this. Anyway, people, like up the live and big up on the nice green stuff. Thank you so much for the purple hearts. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, double click it twice so that you get notified anytime I go live. Thank you so much for chilling with me, hanging with me in a touch of class with HTK. I hope you have found this discussion interesting. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye bye.